Peggy, what did you do? Peggy, what did you do? Hey, everybody. Hey, Oceans. Sassy Sarah, I love you. Carrie, how you doing, baby? Shelby, Vicky, Dragon. Peggy, what did you do? I saw Halloween Baby was in there earlier. Happy birthday to Halloween Baby's son. Hey, Flash. I'm going up. Hey, there's Aunt Kathy. There's Aunt Kathy. I love you, Peggy. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, baby. Hey, State of Disorder. How's everybody? Deborah. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's having a great week. Tiny, what are you doing? Hello, sweet pea. Hey, watcher. Flash. You know, I shower once a week, whether I need it or not, on Saturday, so I can do this. Hey, Laura Lee. I love you, Peggy, so much. You've done so much for me. You have no idea. I love you. I love you to death. Let me smooth my hair. My hair, I've been sitting there. I was a minute late fiddling with my hair. Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie, but listen. Hey, Fairy Meadows, how are you? Hey, money's money, baby. You gotta go make it. I will. I am known. Sometimes I will grab a turkey at the store and make Thanksgiving in September if I want to. So it's just one of those things. I did have all my family, all my children, all my grandchildren, my mom, a friend of. He might as well be my son. He's my oldest daughter's best friend, and hey, Abe, and has been for over 20 years. Usually I get the deposits like, so-and-so doesn't know anywhere to go. Can they come over? Sure. Halloween, happy birthday to you, baby. Yeah, you do that. Hey, Salty C. You listening at work? Okay. I'll try to drag it out the whole 12 hours. I almost didn't think I was going to finish this because it did take, the holiday. You forget. You kind of forget what, everything that takes, and then doing it, and then eating it, and then cleaning it up, and then put it away, and then pulling out the, Christmas wreaths and whatnot. So I didn't think I was going to have time to do it, but I did, and I was shocked at myself because I wasn't going to let anybody down. So it got done. It got did. This this one is special I say special to me like it's something great, but this happened an hour away from me, and I remember it very well, very well. And to think that it is still unresolved. Hey, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you. This thing is still unresolved. When you were coming in late, I told Kathy. It's the first thing I saw. Yeah, I saw the one. I don't know. What did you do? What did you do? And Peggy, God, I love you. But I remember when this happened. And because it was, they weren't sure when the, murders took place. They didn't know if it was anywhere from 11 p.m. on the 14th, or no, I won't say 11. I'll say 12 a.m. on August 15th, all the way up to 9 a.m. They don't know really and if they know exactly, they're not saying it. There's still stuff they're not saying 21 years later. Let me have a sip of my Red Bull because I have to have energy. Now, Sarah, because those posters of her face went out because they didn't know how far, the person could have gotten with her. And if y'all don't know, I'll it'll all come tumbling out in a second. So anything in the surrounding area of Martinsville, Virginia, because that's about where it happened. If you could be into North Carolina, South Carolina, up here to Tennessee, up here to Washington. I mean, there was just no telling. And as I recall, I know that they did issue an Amber Alert for little Jennifer Short. She was 9 years old, but I don't understand how an Amber Alert has got rules and parameters that it has to, you have to have a description, I think, of the child's clothing. You have to have a vehicle that they might be in. And we didn't know any of that. None of that was known. But an Amber Alert went out right away. Well, I ain't gonna say right away. Henry County, where this happened, in Virginia. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you. I will take all of those compliments. I love them. Thank you. Thank you. I think my husband thinks this is the only time I ever dress up. Well, from the waist up anyway. I've got on pajama pants under the shirt. Anyway, as you will uncover, or as we will uncover, Henry County Sheriff's Department had some problems. And when I say had some problems, and I didn't go to Reddit. You remember the story, but literally just went away. Yeah, well, you know what, Lorley? It did just kind of go away. And I don't when I hey Brantley, Brantley, when I show you where the house was, because it's not there anymore, and how I went to Google Maps, right? Just because I wanted, because they kept talking in this all this about a convenience store that little girl would go to every day alone. And I know they lived on Route 220, which is a busy highway. It's like 2 lanes this way, 4 lanes, but 2 going this way. And I couldn't picture how the house was fitting with because I never went down that way. So when I looked at the map, right, of the house, where it was, where the convenience store that they all used to go to all the time, which is now closed 21 years later, of course it is. And then you look at it then, and then you look at it now, because you can do that on Google Maps. If you're lucky, they can click it, Oh, Brantley. You know what? I bet you when I show them, you might go, oh, wait a minute. Because the posters for this were up everywhere. She was up. Well, she was only missing 41 days. Let's get into it. You want to get into it? Let's just get into it. Let me come over here and start my presentation, because y'all know I always forget. That I got effing pictures. All right. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. Now, I can't see y'all right now, so hold on a second. Let's go up here and grab the one up here. All right. Let me come back over here. Here they are. This is Mary Short, Michael Short. Hey, Pindar, how are you? Yeah, you're catching mine. Pindar, I have been wondering where the hell Peggy has been. Not you, Peggy. And I saw she's with you. Not you, Peggy. Peggy, hi. She sings. She used to be like our community singer. Like if anything, somebody passed away or whatever, she would do it. And I wondered where she went. And then I saw, I was flicking through your, lives, and I saw her name, and I'm like, she's alive. you're from the Tidewater area. You remember this picture was everywhere. This is Michael. Let me present it. I always forget to do that too. One day I'm not going to have to forget it. One day I will put myself in the corner. Oh, I'm a huge fan of her. She's so wonderful. She's so wonderful. Just one even tempered, never any drama. Just beautiful. Just love her. Just love her to death. So Michael Short was 50 right here. His wife was 36, 14 years apart. Hey, what the fox? How are you? You're not late. I'm just starting. And I appreciate y'all being there. Liar, liar. Hello, you working on a puzzle? Oh, I used to love puzzles. And my cats kept knocking them down. I don't want to talk about it. No, vegetative disorder. So okay, I'm sorry. It's Michael 50, and there's his wife, Mary, who was 36, and there's little Jennifer, who was 9. Now, Michael, again, 14-year difference. He had been married before, and he had 3 grown sons. Hey, MS, how are you, sweet pea? So he met Miss Mary, after that, after his divorce, and they started to date, and then they got married, and they had beautiful Jennifer, his little girl. Michael owned a company where he moved trailers. In fact, he named it, oddly enough, MS Mobile Home Movers. You know when you're going down the road and you see, hey, country girl, you see a wide load, it's got a trailer on it. That's what he did. That was his job. Now, Mary had worked in factories around the area forever, but when she married him, she became the bookkeeper. So she was employed by him. And let me see if I can find the house that doesn't have. This is another photograph that was shown everywhere. This was shown everywhere. This little girl adored her parents and loved her daddy. She was a daddy's girl. They never saw him without her, or vice versa. Here's when they met, which I think is hilarious. Look at him. That's a different picture altogether, isn't it? But all right, so yeah, he moved trailers. That's what he did for a living. However, things weren't going real great for some reason. I couldn't tell you why. In 2002, business just took a dip. I don't remember financially what was going on at that time. If there was like I couldn't tell you why, because in this area, there's a lot of especially prefab homes that, I guess they're like double wides, even down to moving buildings. My husband used to sell aluminum buildings, carports, buildings, greenhouses, whatever. And they would not Michael, obviously, but they would employ, a pretty big flatbed truck to go and take where they needed to be, because they had to get backed in a certain way. You had to know what you were doing. So, and he did. But he had decided that, things weren't going real well and with the business. And they decided to put their house up for sale, their brick and mortar house up for sale. He had a trailer or 2 or 3, I think, on his property that they could live in. So the house was up for sale. I think it had one viewer. I think one person had come in and looked at it. And that's what, they were going to move. They were going to save some money living in the trailer. He had scouted some towns in South Carolina and around Myrtle Beach, Conway, Myrtle Beach, around in there. Hey, Mitten, Mama, to possibly move. So, they had a plan, They weren't destitute by any means. But on the 14th of August, he had an employee named Chris Thompson. And he and Chris Thompson were working on a truck, at one of his trucks, at their home, at his home. Michael's home. And that lasted well into the night. Chris left. They say he thinks around 9 o'clock. He really doesn't know. Hey, Andrew Hondo, I love you. He was staying at a little. All right. So beside this, I'll show you the Circle C convenience store, and beside it are these little shacks that they called it a motel. I think that's where he was staying. I'm not sure. It was close. I think he walked back to the motel. So the family was seen at 11 p.m. that night at a Burger King getting food. That is the last sighting of this family. And it was rather late, but they, whatever they do. And that was the last confirmed sighting of the three of them. So the next morning, let me go over here and show y'all this. The next morning, Chris showed up. You see the house? I mean, it's a cute house. I couldn't figure this house out from this picture. And there are not a lot of pictures of the house full on. Over here is actually the garage. This door goes into the garage. I liked about never found a photograph at the back of the house. Like to never. We're going to show it though. There's Chris Thompson. Now, the police will tell you either the last one that saw him or the first ones to see him after a murder is the bad guy. He was both. He's the last one that saw them, meaning like he was there in the house. And he was the first one to come back. For a long time, I thought, why are they not arresting this idiot? But I get it now. So this is the way he found the house. The garage was open like that. Now, Michael snored a lot. And there was a sofa and a TV in the garage. And he would sleep there. He would watch TV and usually, so that Mary could sleep. So Chris comes up, says, oh man, he's left the door. He shows back up at 9 the next morning, or a little before 9 the next morning, because they were going to go pick up another truck for Michael's business. This is another thing I didn't understand. If your business is so slow that you are putting your home on the market, right? Why are you going and buying another flatbed truck? They ain't cheap, not even a little bit. Even a used one, obviously, I'm sure it wasn't a brand new one. So they were going to go that morning. They were going to go pick up this new to them truck. Well, all right, brace yourself. Everything's blurred out. Don't panic. He walks into the garage and he sees Michael laying on the sofa. He said, oh, because he thought one of two things. One, he's been up for a while, or, he didn't, I don't think he expected him to be asleep. Well, he wasn't asleep. Michael was, there he is. He was shot in the forehead with a .22 caliber gun in his sleep. And so Chris backs out, right? He backs out, calls the Henry County Sheriff's Department. They show up. A Lieutenant Spence, the way he was. He showed up. He obviously sees the wound. He goes into the house because Chris has told him that there's a child and his wife and child. Spence already knew this because there's only 1,000 people that live in Bassett, Virginia. I'm sorry, I can tell y'all where this was. Bassett, Virginia, Oak Level, if you will, almost on the line to North Carolina. They were in Virginia. Everybody knows everybody there because there's only 1,000 people. So Spence comes into, here's the kitchen. You can see over here is their bedroom. It says it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, or was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. There's also, if you look over here or right here, there is a note on the table. We do not know what that note says. We don't know because the cops won't tell us. Thank you, Rachel. So here's the kitchen. Now, mind you, she kept this place spotless, probably anyway, but they had to be ready at a moment's notice for somebody to come and look at it, either a realtor or bring somebody. So the police said, "Hey, Freeside baby," the police said this thing was so spotless that they literally, you would think they would be able to pull any evidence out of that house that didn't belong. You know what I mean? Like any, if they did, they're not saying because they won't tell you what they pulled out. So let's go. I don't have a picture of Mary, thank goodness. But Mary, they found Mary in the master bedroom. She had been shot in the back of the head. They said never knew what hit her. She was also killed in her sleep. So, I'm sorry, that's Chris. Get out of here, Chris. All right, why did I put this all the way up here? Here is a shot of the house. Do you see the 2-lane highway right here? This looks like a regular street. This is a highway. And that's how close the house is to the highway. All right. So I don't know why I put that right there, but I did. All right, so we're going into Jennifer's room right now. Here's Jennifer's room. Look, spotless. Spotless. The only thing that they saw has a sign of struggle. No, Eve, it's not. No, it's not no, this was in 2002. Did I forget that too? Shit. 2002. I'm sorry. So if you look, and I don't know, I hope y'all can see this. Right here, right if you're on the bed, you see this right here? I'm circling it. Let me get a better picture of it. This. Okay. Do you see this right here? They said that this right here was moved about 2 inches. And that was the only sign of a struggle. And her pillow was in the floor. That's all they had. This is their signs of struggle. She was nowhere to be found. So what do the police? The police say, well, listen, I'll tell you what. Here's just a picture of the living room. I thought I would add that. I saw it. I thought I would add it. So let's stop right here. So the struggle, the mattress moved to 2 inches. That is it. And the bed covers were pulled back. Her pillow was in the floor, and that mattress was moved 2 inches. So the sheriff, and now people start pouring in the house. Cops, not cops. And I told you this is a pristine site, right? You know, when they walk into it, it's pristine. And then you start adding people in, right? Even the family was going like, why is everybody going in there? So the sheriff said, well, you know what? She has witnessed her parents getting shot. Probably not, because they said that both of these people were killed in their sleep. So, I mean, because the 22, that's what they were shot with. The 22 isn't loud. I don't know. I have no idea. But the sheriff said she's just hiding somewhere. Once she realizes she's safe, she'll come out. I shit you not, hand to God, that is what he said. Oh, all right. So while they're looking, I'd rather watch what people do. Right, Alejandro. I try to offer something new. Both of them were shot once in the head. She didn't hear him get shot. He didn't see it. He didn't even wake up. They got him right between the eyes. She didn't hear it. She was laying to her side asleep, so she wasn't scurrying. Now, I'm sure Jennifer heard that one, probably. Her mother. Yeah, but they keep saying this one isn't. Oh, no. I know, state of disorder. I know. I'm going by the police. I'm going by the police. They realized that the phone lines to the house has been cut. Now, if you're cutting the phone lines to the house, you mean business. You mean business, all right? So that is not. Oh, and also how that it wasn't a robbery because if you ever heard the expression, there's a bag of money. They had a bag of money on the kitchen counter, $600. All right, and blank checks from the business laying there. Nobody touched it. Don't know. I think Brantley, when they use a silencer, I think there's some stuffing that comes out of it. I can't. What is it called? What is it called? It's not stuffing. It's it goes through there and it blows that stuff out. And to my knowledge, that they didn't use any. But here's the thing, Brantley, we're not ever going to know because the sheriff's not ever going to tell us because it's been 21 years and there's still they won't come off any information at all. Exactly. Yeah. Tiny, it could be big, it could be nothing. Like I was thinking, all right, so all right, so in a murder, right? In a murder, if you have one little murder, right? Just one little murder. You got to figure out who benefits. Well, one, you got to figure out love, money, jealousy, sex. It's usually one of those four. Figure out who benefited from this man or this family dying. Well, his business was on the rocks. So he said, I don't know if you're going and buying a new flatbed truck. That's a lot of money. But anyway, who would benefit from it? Well, his older sons would, maybe. So then you have to figure out who was the target. There had to be a target. This wasn't done by somebody that just pulled off the side of the road. I don't know. It might have been, though. Hold on. Stay with me. So who was the target? Was it Jennifer? Had somebody watched her run back and forth to that convenience store? And decided he wanted to have her. I don't know. Was it Michael? Had he screwed somebody over? We'll come to that in a little while. Was it Mary? Was Mary having an affair? All signs that this was a quiet, loving family. They were never in any trouble. They were always together. You couldn't find anybody to say anything bad about these people. That means either they were really good people or they were really bad people and nobody wanted to say it. I don't think it's the other one. So you have to figure out. So somebody has come in there, walked right up in there and shot him in the forehead. Just boom, shot him in the forehead. Did that person stand there? Hey, Susan, yay! So did that person stand in the garage and look? Did he spend any time in the house? Doesn't appear that he did, but I could be wrong. Don't know because Henry County's not going to tell us anything. So after the child didn't come out from hiding, the sheriff said, well, she's probably hiding out here, out in the. All right, so let me show you. Let me show you around. All right, these are the dogs that looked for. There were dogs, horses, eventually dogs, horses, ATVs, boats, dredgers, anything you could think of to get, and they would just widen it out every time. So let me find. All right, so here we go. Here's their property. Here's the house. So you see this line right here. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of woods. It is open fields. Here it is again. This is not their house. It says it's their house, but it's not. Their house was over here. right here. So do you see there's not, I mean, not a lot of places for a little girl to hide. So, and you can see there's trailers right here. He's got a lot of stuff there. And I don't really know. I know what that is now, which is nothing, but I don't know what it was back then. I couldn't tell you. I wish I could. Move that over to the center. That's bugging me. All right. So here's a photograph from October 2015. This right here is that house. This is what they're calling the address of the house that's no longer there. And I don't know why they're doing that. That's not it. That's what it is. The house you can still kind of see is over here, right? Over here. Let me find the, oh, wait a minute. All right, now we'll just go back up. All right, so they decide that she's not hiding. They got a problem. This happened on a Thursday. Friday was spent searching. Saturday, some of the people went home. The boats went home. They dredged all the ponds. She wasn't in there. The horses started to go home. You know, she was getting ready to go into the 4th grade, bless her heart. And you know, she loved Barbies and softball and dancing, and you know, and my child that is around her age was born in 95. She was born in 90. What the hell was she born? It was maybe that's why I remember it so bad, it was so well, because my daughter Devin was so close in age. So they decided they were gonna put out the Amber Alert. Now bear with me because this gets real. Lieutenant Spence literally spends 2 weeks in that house collecting evidence. He said that if it's a normal murder, murder. They had to make sure it wasn't a murder suicide. It wasn't. They decided it was murder. All right, so he spent 2 weeks in that house collecting evidence. He said that in a regular maybe murder, you might get 40 to 50 pieces of evidence. Hey, Smokey! That's Smokey Pete. They have 1,000 pieces of evidence in a locker right now. They have 1,000 pieces of evidence. So the search continued. The posters went out. You couldn't go anywhere without these posters. Nowhere. Well, over in Rockingham, North Carolina, about 30 miles away from the Short home, there was Eddie Albert, which is funny because that's who the actor. He had his dog. His dogs came running around from a creek that was down the street from their house, and he thought they were playing with a wig, an old wig. So he picked up the wig and he threw it in the trash. And then the next day or two, they brought back a child's shoe. But they were always bringing things back from there, so he wasn't real concerned. And then one day, like a day or two later, he noticed teeth in his driveway, child's teeth. And he looked over, and his dogs were playing with what he thought was a turtle shell, until he got a good look at it, and it was a child's skull. So obviously he called the police. So now we have a secondary crime scene. We've got the house and we have the secondary crime scene. This was on September 25th. So it was 41 days from the time that the murders happened. So we have skeletons. We think skeletal. I mean, they say skeletal. It was August into September. They only found about 25% of her remains. She apparently had been tossed over a bridge into a creek, and the person carried on. No way to know how long it had been there. Did this person keep her? She was shot in the head because we had the skeleton. So we now have our girl. Now, what happened? Hey, Blonde, what happened? A-Flies, during this period, this 41 days, it came to light that Mary had a stalker at a plant where she used to work. This guy would come into the parking lot, right? A couple of times and had to be removed. The last time he showed up at her work, this is 10 years prior to the murder. So she was married to Michael. The last time the man showed up at the plant, he actually came into the plant and the police were called, and she asked that he not be arrested. So that's weird, right? So what they didn't do for some reason was when they buried, or when they had to have autopsies. Mary and Michael had autopsies. They didn't get any of his DNA. So they had to, 13 days afterwards, they had to exhume his body because they thought perhaps he wasn't Jennifer's father. Now, I remember when this happened, the little girl wasn't found yet. They exhumed his body 13 days later, right? They said because the coroner failed to get hair samples. You don't do that. You don't exhume a body for hair samples unless they're attached to DNA. And so the reporters were questioning this, right? Like, what are you doing? Nobody does this. What are you talking about? And then they said, wait a minute. She was stalked. And it got out pretty much that possibly Jennifer wasn't his daughter. And the police couldn't say a word about it because they thought, okay, this could very well be her father coming back to get her, killing the two people that kept him away from her, and taking his daughter. And they didn't want him to know that it wasn't his daughter. That they're protecting. Oh, bloody thing. So they were protecting her. They thought, and they were. They didn't want him to say, "Oh, you're not mine." Boom. He's already killed two people. What the hell's another one? So she's found. So now, like I said, we have a different crime scene, a secondary crime scene in another state, which complicates things a bit. Her body went to their coroner, in the little bit they had of it, went to the North Carolina medical examiner, not the Virginia one, that the other two were at, had been to, where all the samples were or whatever. So then they released her remains, and they had to bury a girl where they only had 25% of her remains, which means under this bridge that he tossed her over, Most of her remains are still there. Hey, Alan, I don't know where, but that's a lot. 75% of a child's remains, I know that they had a rib cage, they had the skull. I think, the Lieutenant Spence, the first one on the scene at the house in Bassett, said that he thought to himself, I am carrying this child's remains in a plastic, I mean, not a plastic, sorry. I'm carrying this child's remains in a paper bag. That's all we have. So we've discussed these cases before where these children have gone missing in forests. And people are always like, no way you didn't find that body. But, and you think, hey, what are you doing? Hey, gossip. We had we had them. Remember their names now. We had Asia Degree. We had Dennis Martin. Both went missing in the woods. Never found. Not one bone found in them. Because if you think about it, if you go walking through the woods, an average person, I'm trying to think about how unless you're a hiker or whatever, average person doesn't spend a great deal of time in the woods. I like to think over my lifetime I have, because we have these mountains that that I've been all over. I've never seen a dead animal in the woods. Hey, sour girl, I have never seen a dead animal when I was in the woods or smelled one. Funny thing about this too, let me just say this, because it's always the smell for me, right? We have a kid that lives, I know y'all can't see, but right over here, down in Turn over here, went to school with my girl Devin. Him and his best friend would absolutely roller skate, skateboard, everywhere. That kid has been in my home, outside my home, anywhere I could think. Well, a couple of years ago, he went missing. He had a really bad. I'm not going to stay on this for long. Just bear with me on it. He had a really bad motorcycle accident, and it effed him up. Right, he had head injuries. He was already on drugs. He already sold drugs. His mom and his stepdad lived right, over here, a couple streets over. And he wanted his mother to take him. He was 28 years old. So he wanted his mom to take him over a couple of, maybe a 10-minute drive away, to go over to some shady places. And she said, I'm not doing it. So he got mad and left. He was never seen again. He was seen over there where he was going. Never saw him after that. Nothing, right? So my daughter was absolutely obsessed with this because, and so we called the detective, right, that was handling it. And I was asking, is there any footpaths from this, subdivision over to that subdivision where he was found? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm like, well, you probably need to figure that out, because if he's walking, he's taking a footpath. He's not walking, he's not walking where you drive. He's taking a shortcut. Last week, this has been 2 years. Last week, not far off the road, they found skeletal remains. He went missing in April. So no, we're not frozen, right? Very near homes. Probably not searched, but very near homes, because his was skeletal as well. So this little girl, we don't know how long she was down there. He could have thrown her down there that night. Why take her out the house? I always thought, well, maybe he didn't have the nuts to blow her head off right there like that, so he took her. I don't know. We don't know that she was there that night, that, he tossed her over. We don't know if she was sexually assaulted. That's going to come up in a minute as well. We have no clue. We don't know anything except for her skeletal remains were found 41 days later, right? I don't know how long it takes, a body to break down in August to September. I don't know. I could probably look it up. I mean, honestly, there's probably somewhere I can look that up. So we have them. We have everybody's back together. She's buried. It was sad. The fourth grade, so she was going to go into fourth grade, and her homeroom teacher and her classmates got her desk ready for her with her name on the top for when she came back. This is like 45 minutes from her house. It was 30 miles, so I'll say 30 minutes. 30 miles. So maybe 45, yeah, because you're not going 60 miles an hour. Yeah, so yeah, 45 minutes. In the heat, I guess, in running water, so you have, well, the police get a phone call. The police get a phone call, and it's from a man named Gary Lemons. And Gary Lemons said, "Let me tell you something. You need to check out my ex-tenant." His name was Garrison Bowman. And thank you, sour girl, I love you. He told me that he had paid this guy in Virginia to move a trailer, and if he didn't do it, he was going to kill him. He also lives 1 mile from the bridge that she was tossed over. He also was modifying his van and putting in a false floor in it, because I saw him do it. And he also put in a secret compartment in that van. And he left the day after the murders. He went to Canada. You need to check him out. Something's not right. So we have Garrison Bowman is our new come on down. Hey, and it sounds great, doesn't it, on paper? Google says in the temperate climate 3 weeks. So okay. 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 Good work. Good work. Thank you for doing that. So this Garrison Bowman, man, that sounds like woohoo, we got him. Lives a mile from that bridge. Said he was going to kill a man who's not moving his trailer in Virginia, and he lives in North Carolina. And putting in a false bottom in his van and a secret compartment, and took off for the border the day after the murders. Let's find him. He's the one. He's the one. Would it be great if that were the case? It's not. So what had happened was Garrison Bowman, I'll just call him Bowman, had been a tenant of Mr. Lemons for over a decade. He owned the trailer, but he didn't own the land. And he told Mr. Lemon, while he was waving a gun around, that he was moving to Canada. And so Lemons thought, okay, well, he'll just leave his trailer and I'll get to benefit from it. It was a 1966 trailer. I don't know. I mean, it was about 15,000, I think they said. And I'm like, what? Anyway. So what Mr. Lemons thought would happen was he would leave his trailer, and his trailer, Mr. Lemons could rent it out and benefit from it. Oh, stop. So that's pretty good. Okay. Then Mr. Bowman said, no, that's all right. I'm not going to do that. I've already given it to somebody else. And that's who was supposed to come and move a 1966 trailer. I don't understand, but anyway. Mr. Bowman also was a carpenter and got rid of $10,000 worth of tools before he left to go to Canada to live, which is not a crime, obviously. Not a crime. So Mr. Lemon was not happy with with Mr. Bowman. Now, the woman who Mr. Bowman gave the trailer to, who didn't even live in Virginia, called him in Canada and said, listen, they're looking for you down here because they're saying you had something to do with the Short murders. And he was like, what? So he calls the Henry County Sheriff's Department and said, what are you talking about? And they tell him basically what they have. And he was like, that dude's crazy. Well, before you can immigrate into Canada, you have to go through this, process where if you've been arrested for, any crime, or you have a crime on your record, you have to tell them, because they can say, no, we're not letting you in. Well, it turns out that Mr. Bowman eventually got kicked out of Canada, not because of this murder, because he got a DUI in Canada. And when Canada started looking, they found out that he had a DUI here in the States. And that meant he lied on the immigration. That meant he was coming home. So he literally came straight to Henry County. And he explained every bit of it. Let me just say this. Hold on. There are a couple more people that started talking about Mr. Bowman. Let me find them. So you have this three men. Mr. Sampson, Mr. Giles, and Mr. Bear with me, talk amongst yourselves. I have it written down 17 different places. Hold on. And another guy. They came forward to the Henry County Police Department and said, listen, we're not going to lie. We were out near the Shorts house, which I showed y'all the Shorts house. There's not a neighborhood there, but they were casing somewhere to rob. And they happened to be doing it on the morning of August 15th. Would you believe it? And do you want to know what they saw? I'll tell you what they saw. They saw a man that looked like Abraham Lincoln. If I do not have a picture of this son of a bitch, I am going to shut this down and never stream again. I don't have a picture of him. Fuck. Hold on. He looks like Frank. Hold on. I can't believe this. All right, so while I'm looking this up, he comes and he talks to the police. He's basically in custody, right? I mean, without being in custody. And he starts to explain away. Anyway, all right, so these guys said, we saw a man that looked like Abraham Lincoln carrying out a child in her nightgown from a home over in Bassett. Well, hell, Lord, what do you know? What? Yes. So Mr. Bowman starts to talk to the police officers, and he said, I've never had a gun in my life. They said, well, you also, Mr. Lemons went into your trailer there, and you had maps, and there was a map of Virginia and of the neighborhood where the Shorts lived, and you had put an X on it. You had put an X right on it. And he said, well, I did have maps because I like to go canoeing, and I like to draw, like he'll drive, the stream. He said, but if there was an X on it, maybe my ex-wife put an X, unintentionally. Well, they went and got the map. The X was about 5 miles away from the Shorts house. It wasn't even on top of it. It was 5 miles away, near a stream, near a creek, river, whatever. So even after he has explained this away, They still take it to a grand jury. And nothing, no charges, none, zilch, zero. So so then these three men, the three men who said they were casing the whole thing and saw him, they were arrested. Hey Hutch, they were arrested for perjury. And they had to go, they were like legit had to go to prison. Mr. Garrison just went back, to I guess North Carolina, and he ended up. I think he died. Let me see, 2014 on Christmas Day. I want to say something. Passed away. Can't believe I don't have a picture of this son of a bitch. So we are now at. Let's say we're at 2000. This happened 2002, 2009. Let's go to 2009. Guess what we got, people? We got a task force. What? Yeah, hell yeah, task force. Task force. We have 2 deputies from Henry County. We have 2 deputies from Rockingham County. We have 2 deputies 2 state troopers, 2 North Carolina troopers, 2 FBI agents, and 1 attorney general helper outer. And guess what they did? Oh, guess what they did? So this is, let's see, 2009. 2009, we got a composite. Are you kidding me? Nope, there he is. This man who was sitting in this truck, yes, somebody actually drew that truck that wasn't 10. This guy was seen sitting outside of the Shorts' home on August 14th, 2002. This is 2009, this comes out. The task force decides we put out a composite or something. Can you get your kid to draw a flatbed truck? Is he in the car? Get Timmy to go and tell him to draw us a flatbed truck. We're not going to get a picture of one that looks like it. That's stupid. Have your kid fucking draw it. Not a problem. So there he is. Well, he was in his 40s. Slim. I don't know how they could tell he was slim. He was in the truck. Just staring at the house. Lord Lee, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I know. Hey, Sarah. I mean, I'm trying to. It's just so ridiculous. But wait, it gets better. It gets better. You're saying no way it gets better, Shannon. Oh, it's a way. So Henry County, if you know anything about Henry County, Sassy Sarah can tell you, maybe Hondo might be able to tell you, if you, right, sour girl. Henry County, if you don't watch the news, let's see, if I watch the news every single night. If there's not at least 2 murders in Henry County, I think something's wrong. On a very busy road. Yes, Laura Lee, on a very busy road. If there's not a murder there, I don't know what the hell's going on. Something wrong. If it's not at least 2 murders every week. Well, it turns out we have a little problem with some deputies. And remind you, this is not a big, huge police department, sheriff's department. Rather small. 13 deputies, including the sheriff, were arrested for dealing drugs, money laundering, racketeering. Is there more? Yeah, there's more. What they would do is they would bust somebody for drugs. Crack cocaine, ketamine, and pot were their big ones. That would go to trial. They would fill out a form to go into the evidence room. Remember me telling you where there's 1,000 pieces of evidence? They would go into the evidence locker and say they were going to destroy X amount of cocaine. We are going to destroy, 17 pounds of pot. We are going to destroy 20 pounds of ketamine. And they would falsify those. They would say they did it, and then they would turn around and sell them on the street. 13 deputies plus the sheriff. I now know why not a lot was getting done. They had their own little mafia. You didn't call the goddamn police around there. They were the bad guys. So when they tell me that there's 1,000 pieces of evidence in an evidence locker, I ain't impressed. I ain't impressed. But I'm going to read to you something because I did not go to Reddit until today. And I find this very interesting. Oh, let me just show you one more thing. Hold on. Let me see. Are y'all seeing that? Let me see. Hold on. Probably not. I did an overhead of the house. Here's one of them. Okay. This is today, August 2023. This is that little building, yes, that I told you I didn't really know what it was. Here is where the convenience store is that they talked about her going to. Hold on, hold on. Y'all gonna see how badly. All right. Here's where the house used to be. Right up here. There's a drive that went right up there. So she would walk from this area. Oh, no, stop. All the way to that little store. Shit, I'm turning it around. Fuck. All right, hold on. All right, fuck it. Anyway, that's a long way. They said it was 100 yards. I don't know if it is or not. That's a long damn way for a 9-year-old on a busy. See this highway? Here's the, there you go here, and here's it over there. This is a fucking industrial zone here. Anybody could have seen her and said, oh, yeah. Because they say that convenience store was notorious for drugs and prostitution. So I don't know why you're letting a 9-year-old walk down there, but there's video of her that day doing it and in the store. Oh shit. No. All right. So this is from the 2008. You see the house right here? That's where the house was. Here's that whatever that shit that is. And of course, down this way is the highway, is the thing. And you can see year after year, it just starts going away. It just starts getting built up and built up. I'll tell you too. Not long. Hey, Mama Candole, how you doing, baby? That all of their possessions, the house, everything went up for auction. And a woman bought that house. And it sat empty for about 16 years. She didn't touch it. She was going to rent it out. She did end up renting it out for a little while. But I'm going to show you what happened to the house. Let me stop sharing. And now, mind you, this house had no electricity going to it, right? There was no electricity. There was no storms. There was no anything. There it is. And this was about 2 or 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. It's gone. Everything about that family is now gone. This was she left it up here for a little while, but it obviously was knocked down. They knocked it down. So there's nothing over there now. There's nothing that ever shows there was ever a human being over there. Every year they do these annual rides from the church where they're buried all the way to the bridge. And now that bridge is called, and I showed you a while ago, the Jennifer Renee Short Memorial Bridge. And that's all that's left. That's all that's left of that whole family. They were so happy and whatnot. Yeah, see, Brantley, 13 deputies and a little. Well, no, because we don't know, Eve. We don't know. See, here's the thing. The Henry County deputies right now, they got Mr. Lieutenant Spence, the first one on the scene who was the lead. He's retired. The sheriff that was sheriff during the actual murders, he in jail. He might be out by now. And so the new sheriff has a button that is the little girl's face, and he keeps it. He says on his thing there, visor. So he looks at her every day. They interviewed the FBI agent from Lynchburg, by the way. The FBI agents, the two that are on the task force, are from Lynchburg. I should go down there. He didn't even want to be on camera. He was in shadow, to talk about what they hadn't really done. Hello, it's been 21 years. We ain't done shit. We're not going to tell you shit. We don't even know if. So out of the house, they did take 22 caliber rifles and ammunition. We don't even know if they were shot with their own guns. I'm assuming not, because they ruled out murder-suicide real quick. In fact, that day, I think. So they either have nothing. And he said, the new guy, if one or two people would talk, if one or two people would just tell me tell me what happened, then we could break this case. You reckon? Okay, where the fuck are they? What's their name? What have you had? What have you done? They're getting funded. Oh, you thought I didn't know? These sons of bitches, sorry. The funding for this task force comes from the United States Department of Justice Sexual Assault Kit Initiative. And this is from, I'll read that again. They're getting funded by the following. They're getting paid. Let's say it that way. They're getting paid by the United States Department of Justice Sexual Assault Kit Initiative. So supposedly they're supposed to start retesting all of that DNA, because here in parentheses, sexual assault has not been completely ruled out in this case. They ended up also exhuming Miss Short for reasons I don't know. I couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you. But they exhumed her. I want to say within a year. I've got so many dates in my head, and then I rarely make it out of my brain to y'all. Things don't make it out of here. Okay? So they exhumed her No one knows why. They're not saying. So it goes back to our question. Who was the target? Was getting Jennifer the task at hand? Why kill, if you have something against Michael Short, why kill his wife, take his daughter, and kill her? So I can't think that it's Michael. Was it Mary? You had to shoot Michael on to get him to the house to shoot Mary. Jennifer might have gotten up. I don't even know the name of the man that stalked her 10 years ago. Nobody does. It's not even on Reddit. They always have it. People on Reddit have talked to the next door neighbor of the guy. I mean, that's what they do. Don't even know his name to this day. So, like we said, okay, you come into the house, boom. Because the garage door is open. It's not shut. It's open. You just walk in, boom. It's not a crime of opportunity because one, why? Two, you didn't take any of the money. You didn't take the blank checks that were laying there. You didn't take anything else out of the house that was worth anything. So, did you just... Y'all help me out. Y'all help me out. I'm trying to figure out why you kill a whole family. Who benefited from that? Well, the sons would have benefited because Jennifer wouldn't have been in the will. But then you turn around and had to have the home auctioned off and the belongings. So they didn't make any money. I can't, obviously that land isn't very, look at it. Nobody's done anything with it. So it's not the land that was worth a lot. Then you look at Chris Thompson, who they have taken in and out. They have, Mr. Bowman passed a lie detector test. They told him he passed, but they won't tell the press that he passed the lie detector. This some bitches have been dead since 2016. They won't just write him off. Chris Thompson has taken him. He's passed. I say that I do these because I think I'm going to help. I feel like I'm helping. I can't do anything. I feel like I'm helping. But it's stuff like this that I just don't understand. I don't understand. There's a lot. I think every mystery we've discussed. I don't think not any of us understand it. If we did, it wouldn't be a mystery, would it? I'm just gonna go through here and make sure I said everything. Dun, 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 dun. Yep, said that. Said that. Said that. Now, it is odd. Here's what I said to me. I grew up in Sulphur Springs in Virginia. Woofle. I said, wait, Woofle. Woofle, Virginia. It is odd that Mr. Bowman lived 1 mile away from that bridge. And when I see that bridge, when I looked at it in pictures, obviously I have not driven over it, I think to myself, is the person who did this, are they driving over this bridge every day? If I were that man that lived there, well, he's dead now, but I would sit there in my front yard and I would probably wonder every car that went by, are you it? They knew about that place somehow. They were comfortable enough to carry a body of a child and throw it over. So they were pretty comfortable with that area. That's a wonder I would always have. Let me make sure. Hold on. I'm going to make sure. Because if I log off here and I haven't said everything, I'm going to be so mad. I really thought Chris Thompson was it. All this time I thought Chris Thompson was it. Isn't that it? So if y'all can think of any. Oh, yeah, and Garrison was 66 years old at the time. Now, what if Michael Short would have stood up? Your ass would have been dead. Well, before you shot him. Michael Short was a big guy. But okay, so yeah. They also, this was obviously premeditated because they cut the phone lines. So it was premeditated. They went there to kill somebody or take somebody. That's what there was a purpose. That wasn't a crime of opportunity. You're not going to go cut a line. One, you have to walk around and find it if you weren't familiar with the house. If you were familiar with the house, all this 1,000 pieces of DNA, I mean, not DNA, all this 1,000 pieces of evidence, what the fuck are you doing with it? You're not testing it. I don't guess. I don't know. They won't say. They won't say. They won't say. Michael Short remains exhumed. I told you about that when they didn't think he was the daddy. And I remember, I'll tell you what I remember. The sheriff at the time could not say. I told y'all he had this theory that, the real father had come back to get Jennifer. And when all this came back to, Michael Short was the father. He apologized profusely to the family and to the friends by, quote unquote, insinuating she was anything less than a lady. I remember that. I remember that line. I am sorry I had to insinuate she was anything but a lady. You were born with Woofle. Woofle. Everybody do this. Listen, women, us women from Virginia get no sense. I'm just making sure I got everything. I think I got everything. What? I got everything? Went over the timeline, which there really wasn't much of a timeline. I mean, they were working on the truck. They went to Burger King at 11 o'clock, probably in the bed by 12. And we don't know what time. There's no way to me that they don't know exactly what time that happened. There is no way that you can tell me they have looked at those bodies. That is their job, to look, the autopsy people, look at the bodies and see rigor and all that stuff and exactly pinpoint what time it was, at least within an hour. Now, see, Eve, right, was Michael Short was buying a flatbed. Not new, I don't think, but a used one, and they ain't cheap. Where do you get that money? If you're so bad you have to sell your house, where are you getting money for a flatbed? Big enough to carry. Oh, Sarah. See, okay, here's the great stuff about that, Sarah. So last week, Quinny, we went over the, I think it was the Fort Worth Trio. Fort Worth Trio, 1974. And she was like, I want to dive into this more. Great. I say we do one show where we open it back up and discuss it. That's because y'all, like, if you go and you research something else, research this, whatever, and you want to revisit it. Oh, I'd love to have a revisited stream where we just revisited the different cases all night that people have gotten interested in. Oh, that would be so great. That would be so great. Because it really is, once you start digging, I'm nosy. See, so I'm nosy. I'm going to find out. I'm going to get there and find out. Let's see. I had because it's the holidays and I want to keep it not awful, but I'm sorry, these mysteries are awful. Unless I did, the mystery of Santa Claus. Where are those names? Shit. Sassy Sarah, you gave me a name last week. JT Lutz. Was it J? No, you did give me JT Lutz. Hold on. I have another one though. Shite. Okay. I want to thank you, Halloween baby. Just kidding. It would be John David Ghosh and Eugene Martin. That's a heavy one. They were paper boys. You will know John David Ghosh for sure. Because that's just I want to say that's the first time that there was been a kid. I think he was the first child on a milk carton. I might be lying about that, but I don't think I am. And then not long after he disappeared, another boy disappeared, and the sheriff in this area said they weren't linked. Said they weren't linked. So I will put those. Let me write them down here. Like I said, I talked to my therapist about why I do these. I didn't have a really good answer, but I did. I mean, when I was talking here, I said I feel like I'm helping. You feel like you're helping something you have no control over, or maybe that's it. I'm not real sure. Thank you, Carrie. Yes. That's one. I think I'm going to do that next week because they are. They're connected. There's no way they're not connected. And so that gives y'all a jump on it. I know it's such a busy time, and we're getting ready to hit the holidays and whatnot. As long as y'all, if y'all say, "Listen, I've had enough. Let's take a break," let me know. All right, not a problem. Because these get you down. They get you down. But we're helping. If there's canceled my last appointment. Oh no, flies. My therapist is so nosy. He wouldn't cancel one on me forever. I think he sharpens all of his pencils and gets all of his shit together. Wait, Lorley, the I-29. Because we got an I-29 killer here in the Lynchburg, I-29 murderer. I'll look at ones from there. There you go, Deborah. That's what I thought too. If we just, like I said, they're interested. They take your mind off of your own whatever and just, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? You feel me? I think they're so interesting, and I can't imagine being a parent or a family member like the shorts. I watched his sister and his daughter-in-law were interviewed not long ago, and they are so resigned to not finding out because nobody is just lurking. Nobody is holding these people's feet to the fire. Task force, my fat ass. No. You have a bunch of dudes. The best they could do was a remedial picture of a truck and a weathered guy. He was weathered. Son, didn't hear about this at all. Not at all. From 2002 to 2009, we didn't hear about it? Really? Wow. Okay. Rest stops. Oh, girl, I'm looking up that. I'm looking that up, Lorley. The one thing we can do is never forget that. See, that's why I do these. Thank you, Sour Girl. I don't want us to forget. I don't want anybody to forget. Those girls last week, 7, it's going to be 50 years they've been missing next Christmas. 50 years. Nobody's talking about them. I mean, nobody knows now. There were people that lived in Fort Worth that never heard of this before. What? Kathy told me to tell you that she loves you. Oh, I love her. I saw her out sneaking around YouTube. She's still in the hospital. I go, oh, I saw her and I love her. As for who murdered him, I don't believe it was the mother. Let me see. You know, as long as y'all keep showing up, I will keep doing them. And I'll probably do them if y'all don't show up. I will probably do them if you don't show up. I get down here in my little womb, not room, womb. And I'm thinking about redecorating though. Oh, I'm thinking about changing the paint color, but I don't know. I get down here and I can just, have my. I didn't. Let me see, Vicky. I'm sorry. Let me see. Where are you at, Vicky? Where are you at? Where are you at? Oh, you played the abduction. Oh, hold on. Oh, let me write that down. Let me write that down. Let me write that down on my crazy pad. I need to get a pad of paper for in here. Well, it ain't like I don't have 75 damn notebooks under here. Christine Jessup. I'm writing it down. All right, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at that, my Vicky girl. Queensland, Ontario. All right. Terry O. All right, so all these are all my suggestions that I have neatly and organized. No. Oh, let me take this down. Hold on. There we go. I'm back. Look at me. All right, guys. We got another one in the books. I passed the rest area. Those were taken before they were little. They were killed. Yeah, so here's the funny thing about these crimes is that you get one. All right, so if I didn't look on Reddit this time for these for this till today. You will go and you will find, and you can read the subreddits and whatnot, and there will always be somebody that goes, there was two people that had two different serial killers responsible for this. What? Because one might have been in the area at a scuba diving expo. Thank you, Pendar. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you. What the fuck? But because there might be a similarity, a serial killer get tossed in, and it's like, well, when you got to go back, that's crazy. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for the super chats, Peggy. If you're still here, I love you, girl. I will see y'all next Saturday. I will post the names on my community post, and I will see y'all next Saturday. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all very much. I really do. I can't thank you enough. So, yeah, everybody have a great night. I always say I'm going to go live during the week. I never do, but you never know. I might. I always think, they don't want to talk to me. They don't talk to me today. And I just don't do drama very much anymore. So, not that I don't love it. All right, y'all. Sleep tight. I love you, Carrie. I love you all. Thank you. And I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.